As I said, it's a different book for me. I was never much enamored with what is commonly called nature poetry because too much of it has been a conventional romanticization or sentimentalization of nature and its manifold bounty. I am not easily enchanted by canopies of butterflies, fluorescent fronds, seas of grass. I have sought to refuse familiar tropes of nature poetry by refusing to sentimentalize neighboring lake, park, and road, or by imitating Mary Oliver at her worst, as by walking fields with dog and notebook, or by smelling flowers or wet woods at early hours. Maturity and age and experience have shaped me to be a little more like a meditative Wordsworth. In other words, to quote from him, to look on nature not as in the hour of thoughtless youth, but hearing oftentimes the still, sad music of humanity. Consequently, I've looked closely at suburban neighbors, young and old, healthy and decrepit, diverse, neurotic, virtuous, flawed, joyous, disillusioned, real people from real life, often crystallized by gestures. In this collection, I interrogate myself in my suburban Mississauga world, particularly in the summative final two poems in the book. This book demonstrates how mortality weighs on my mind, for I know that life never escapes entropy and that we cannot cancel or unbecome pain. Thorns and dark shadows remain, but we can still sing as naturally as blood coursing through our veins. I can truthfully and justifiably claim that because much of what I write arises from the depth of intimate experience, a reader reads the work inside me. Now, the book is divided into three sections. The first section is suburban portraits, which of course describes exactly what it's about. It's about vignettes or portraits of real people I've met or known about in my immediate world. The second one is Lake Road Park, which is about the history, geography, even the geology and sociology of the place. And the third part is the more philosophic, psychological meditation, which is named after the title of the book, In the Bowl of My Eye. She knows the sun shines because it has to. Its light clawing at her eyes behind dark glasses. Her bony fingers now with arthritis scraping the window as a lonely wasp buzzes its confusion. She farts, her frail body agitating the air. She smiles, less wretched than the insect. Her eyes search, famished for gray squirrels sprinting up trees, imperious geese stopping traffic in the park as they waddle heavily across a path, townhouses glowing in their windows, a nearby clinic where appointments are kept or broken. Her rocking is gentle, in tune with her body going quiet slowly, thoughts mashed in her head. She rocks to the sun, rocks to the time of day, time of year, her heart nesting with birds on their branches. Respite from indoor gloom, the pain in her legs that had brought her so many tottering stops. She will rock the next day, and the next, day after day, all remaining lifelong, dust in her carpets, small balls of fluff under her bed, rise, swirl, and settle again. Sometimes she rocks till the sun goes out. Dusk, the usual intruder, when murmurs begin in her head again. She wondering when it will end, this slow rocking for real. Its water remembers the first canoes, teeming salmon so thick you could walk the water on their backs, alders marking a trail far from broad banks, softer leaves dusting the sky, wildfowl crowding bushes, pigeons darkening Mimico after a glut of acorns. The early water was crystal blue. True virgins survived diving into the deep. Tribes gave thanks this water could not be held the way a hand holds rifle, money, or Bible. It remembers slaughters, fish by mills and machines, pigeons by a storm of sticks flung to bring them down by white settlers who could not abide black, wanted them salted for market. Green or blue is what the water wanted, not black. Not black robes baptizing the water, turning it dark, stopping its singing of ancient songs, hearts of Anishinaabe, Mississaugas shedding skins. Before the men with wide-brimmed hats and smaller minds arrived, fearing the waters. Ranches did not break by themselves. Summer sank easily into earth. Anishinaabe figuring things out on their feet. Unlike the invaders with minefield minds, they did not wish to be certain of the world, prizing pleasures in discovery, sudden bend in the creek with two channels before rushing to lake water. Seasons and their distinguishing marks. Spring staggering out of winter's hold in melts and trickles. Summer's sunlit dance on water. Fall's paint reflected in shallows near the banks. Winter's tight white hold on the land. The still water. In millennium's churn, sky and water no longer poems. Lakes stuffed with crushed cans, reckless bottles, factory dyes, struggles wounded from its dying bed, historied out. Mind wants to believe only what it can prove. The lake has nothing to prove. It is not interested in true and false. It leaves man the mendacious creature, the one who insists on finding a shape for water, always surprised. His mind is a sieve through which the drops fall. Plain water is where nothing takes place. The lake is cold on the surface, unexplained below. Who knows what slow trance awaits? Water gets the sunlight first. Sunlight purls above. The water dries fastest by the edges. Water is woman, changeable, unpredictable. Its pleasure is conditioned. A Buddhist bows to the water, kneels, the lake demanding this. If man-made, there is less to discuss. Winter ice glints razor silver. We fill the shallows with stone. Water gets the better of stone. Some days the lake looks locked in slate gray. Water still, portentous. A feeling of something beneath struggling to break free and rush upward. Water erupting onto land is not a case of love. It acts sluttish, useless rushing to it. We take our hungers to the lake and empty them. Some bleed their sorrow into the lake, but the red is only sun blaze. When we feel lonely, sorrow fills the mouth like drowning. All the bushes hunch together. Lean trees relieve hunger through stacked sugar. Late fall's violence havocs birds' nests to an overture of cold rain, squawking seagulls, geese lifting and arrowing together. The city draws its mind across a grid of streets, alleys, condos, and houses, all striving for stature from intersections, vanity of maps growing thick and overlapping. A different light playing over trees in desperation or mutability. The lake continues everywhere, sounding its own bed, which we don't hear, chill in the glinting. Salmon unfasten themselves far out, navigating to their spawning place, meta of what is natural, depth of instinct, love of home in lustrous waters. The wind cuts through racks of tree limbs, black stain of rocks, moves on all sides, shaking and remaking shapes we thought we knew things by. Meanwhile, in the crux of the season, turning shabby as it swallows the fires of spring and summer, nature's mouth shows fangs. These turns of season, a new text waiting to be read. They take their own time. Sometimes the hush of light and exhalation, and almost sigh. My eye intrudes. I smell rot settling in, dead weight of leaves, fallen branches, dry carcasses of rodents, birds, roadkill. The road outside the park goes on, indifferent to us, existing as if that is all it needs to do, our footfalls impermanent. Surfaces can be plucked, maneuvered, erased, but nature's tempo resists my probes. Balcony gardens can be shifted, configured, leaves trimmed, flowers colored, not the sky in its changing pigments, the passing hawk with red wingtips. Like ephemera, we need to alter, patch, and repatch our lives on this land we like to divide into tidy sections so we won't feel stranded. Here is my new desire my eyes neglected. Raw material, street, park, lake, environs, and people who leave traces. Wish the lake were transparent, not a broad blur. Wish the park were in layers I could love specifically. Wish the road could be a kaleidoscope of a century, shining even in the dark, and my voice more than a wandering of body. Sometimes words detain us, objects betray. When we throw our arms around their images, what do we hold? A sad unfulfillment, a secret love, a wound. I dream unity in what I know of textures, weathers, structures, issuing from a matrix of everyday life. One season tied to another, like words of a poem, fold upon fold, fond fonts of time and its shadows. The lake alone, the park, the road, interpretable at the end, repeating the whole picture, nothing in straight lines or fixed colors to enter the bloodstream. In the bowl of my eye, in front of my wide window, in the mirror sky, in the lake distance, in the scattered lights, in shadows on the road, in the reduced park, everything speaks a language joined to my words in new places where the knots are tied.